Jai Nityalila Pravishtom Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Paramahansa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaurakishora Das Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Saptam Gosai Sri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Charya Baladeva Dibhusan Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Srila Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Sada Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Swarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Gaura Parsada Vrinda Ki Jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sipo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Antaradvip Mayapur Simantadvip Godamvip Madhadvip Koladvip Ritadvip Janadvip Moda Drumadvip Rudadipatmaka Shri Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jai Shri Purushottam Kshetra Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dvara Shravanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dham Ki Jai. Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Govinda Radha Gopinath Radha Madan Mohan Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Raman Radha Damodar Jiu Ki Jai. Srimati Lalita Vishaka Adi Ashta Sakhi Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Manjari Rati Manjari Ananga Manjari Adi Manjari Vrinda Ki Jai. Srimati Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Srimati Purnamasi Yoga Maya Devi Ki Jai. Shri Gopishwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Sarva Bhishta Pradata Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Jiu Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Shri Nrsinga Dev Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhu Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charodam Charo Sampradaya Charo Acharya Ki Jai. Akaramat Raj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Or Ananya Shakamat Samuha Ki Jai. Shri Vishva Vaishnav Raj Sabha Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Tribhuvana Pavana Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai. Tribhuvana Mangala Harinama Prabhu Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai. Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Shri Nityananda Mahajana Ki Jai. Shri Pancha Tattva Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Srimati Janava Thakurani Devi Ki Jai. Transcendental Appearance Day of Sri Janava Devi Ki Jai. And also Transcendental Appearance Day of Sri Sita Devi Ki Jai, the consort of Sri Lord Ramachandra Bhagavan. And the disappearance day of Sri Madhu Pandit Prabhu, the very intimate associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Sha Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurana Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashtachadesha Tarane Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Rakshak Shri Dhariti Namane Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namane Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Audorya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirasha Namami Namo Vishnupadaya Acharya Singha Rupane Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshaviti Namani Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namani Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tishe Namaha Nityanandam Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalmashanashaya Jatakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Rangi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Shuruto Pangor Mama Manda Mater Gati Matsarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpa Drumadha Shrimad Ratanagar Singhashanasto Shrimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prestar Visevyamano Smarami Shrimad Rasara Saramvi Vam Shiva Tata Takstitaha Karsana Venu Sanair Gopir Gopinata Shriyeshtanaha Vrindai Tulsidebai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satchavachai Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Kartals. Kevala Bhakti Sadama Donmui Savadhana Mate Bandonmui Savadhana Mate Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadama Bandonmui Savadhana Mate Bandonmui Savadhana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai Ek Bhavatoriya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoi Jaha Hoi Te Krishna Prapti Hoi Jaha Hoi Te Mukha Padmanabha Chitte Te Koriya Aikya Guru Arana Koriya Mane Asha Arna Kori Ho Mane Asha Tamagati Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Tamagati Jai Prasade Puri Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Puri Sarva Asha चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जते तेरे गाय जहर चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अदमा जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे भद छया श्रील गुरुदेव पतित पवना देवया सुत्रिभुवना जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद बोलो श्री कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Govinda, Jaya Radhe Govinda. Radhe Govinda, Jaya Radhe Govinda. Radhe Radhe, Radhe Govinda. Radhe Radhe, Radhe Govinda. Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana. Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Jaya Sachinandana Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. So first of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams, my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev Nitya Leela Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Ashtotara Shata, Sri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the worshipable Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and Nitya Leela Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Ashtotara, lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, and on these transcendental appearance day, realm of transcendental eternal associates of the Supreme Lord. So today is the appearance day of Srimati Janava Devi, who is the eternal consort of Lord Nityananda. Yes, Lord Nityananda had two wives, and these two wives are his eternal consorts in Krishna Lila. They are his consorts, also as consorts of Baladev Prabhu. And then also today is the appearance day of Srimati Sita Devi, the eternal consort of Lord Ramchandra, Sri Madhu Pandit Prabhu, an associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is telling that today is the appearance day of Janava Mata, who is Lord Nityananda's consort. In other words, Nityananda Shakti. So it is also the appearance day of Sita Devi, who is the consort of Lord Ramachandra. So now first of all he tells what is the reason for Sita Devi's advent. Why did Sita Devi appear in this world? It was to eradicate the mighty and the indomitable ascetics who could not be defeated by anyone else except for Bhagavan. Sita Devi performed her appearance pastimes for the welfare of the whole world. Now in her previous birth, she was the daughter of a boundlessly effulgent and a topmost Brahmin sage named Kushadvaj. Kushadvaj was actually the son of Brihaspati. Kushadvaj named her Vedavati, meaning the embodiment of the Vedas. So as Kushadvaj was always engrossed in studying and reciting the Vedas, and the Kanya uttering, I will in angered into him, as she would have submitted, quote, if indeed I have performed here as a chaste woman in my next birth. Herself, as she felt her chastity was sullied by Ravana. In her next birth, she was discovered in a furrow in the earth by King her. That is why, so King Janak was her foster father. Thus she came to be known as Janaka Nandini Sita. In another kalpa, she was discovered on a lotus flower. Sound familiar? Like Srimati Radhika. Now comes the point. It's possible that in reality, Ravana, a Rakshasa demon, that he could abduct Devi, Agni, the fire god. while Ravana could only lay his hands on the illusory material form of Sita. And what is that form called? Chaya Sita. Like a shadow. So in the scriptures it is affirmed, Atakshi Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grahyam Indriyai Sevon Mukehi Jivadau Swayam Eva Spurati Yada. This is quoted in Srimad Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses. Is it possible for our blunt material senses to understand Krishna? Atakshi Krishna Namadi, or his name, or his form, his pastimes. Is it possible for our blunt material senses to understand Krishna? No. It is impossible. But he reveals himself to the devotees. Under what circumstances does Krishna reveal himself to his devotees? Because being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Sevon mukehi jivado. So now, who is Sita Devi? She is Bhagavan's internal potency. Yes or no? Is Sita Devi the Antaranga Shakti, the internal potency, the Swarup Shakti of Bhagavan? Yes. So, and this internal potency of Bhagavan, it can never be comprehended through materially contaminated senses. So how then can someone like Ravana attain the eligibility to touch her or to abduct her? No, never. Not possible. Sita Devi is the energy of Bhagavan Sri Ram. And the energy and the possessor of the energy are the same. They are non-different. The energy and the possessor of the energy are the same. Shakti, Shakti Mator Abheda. No difference between Shakti and the possessor of the Shakti. Now, eventually, when Sri Ram rescued Sita Devi, then he got her to perform Agni Paripurity. He had protected the remained of Srimati Das Vipra, that Ravana had abducted Sita Devi, who is the mother of the universe, and therefore he had stopped taking any food. He invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home, but he did not cook anything, as he was absorbed in the thoughts that when Lakshman brings leafy greens and roots and fruits from the forest, then I will cook under the inspiration of Sita Devi. Now he was absorbed in such a mood, and he was known as Ram Japi. Ram Japi means he would chant the holy name of Lord Ram. Now Mahaprabhu assured him that actually Ravan could never ever lay hands on the real Sita. Das Vipra. We pray, can Sita Ram. Now, appeared on this day. So, it is the appearance day of Janava Mata. She is Nityananda's Shakti, his divine potency. Yes. So, went there last year. Ambika Kalna. This is where Suryadas Pandit lived. And she appeared to Suryadas Pandit as his daughter. So who is Janava? Janava is Revati in Krishna Lila. And her sister Vasudha is is Varuni. So and wives of Lord Nityananda, but who are they in Krishna Lila? They're the wives of Balaram. Yes, they're his Shakti. Namely, Revati is Janava's Revati, and Vasudha is Varuni. If you go to Tota Gopinath temple, there you will see. What will you see? You'll see Lord Balaram, very beautiful deity, and then you'll also see on each side of him the Revati were married to Nityananda Prabhu. And both are Nityananda's Shakti. They are also mentioned in the Vaishnava Vandana. Vasudha Janava Vandon Dui Thakurani. I offer my Vandana, my prayers, to Vasudha and Janava, who are the two very great Thakuranis. Now, Janava Mata, she was Vaishnavas in these three Dhammas. They would look up to her for direction to resolve all their dilemmas, and they would act as per her instructions. Now the next section is describing the Keturi festival, which was conducted under her auspices in Keturi Gram. Once following a dream, Narottam Das Thakur, he went to an abandoned granary belonging to a Brahmin, and he asked for permission to access it. Now, despite being forewarned that nobody dared to venture there, as the place was infested with many poisonous serpents, then Narottam affirmed that he didn't mind. So when he went in, he was not harmed by any snake. There, he discovered 6 deities, yes, who were actually being guarded by those poisonous serpents. So here's the names of those 6 deities that he discovered in the barn, the granary. First, Sri Gauranga Dev, Shri Balabhikanta, Shri Braj Mohan, Shri Radha Kanta, Shri Radha Raman, and Shri Krishna. Those are the 6 deities. When Narottam then turned to Janavamata for guidance, so she instructed that these deities are self-manifest. And because they are self-manifest, there is no formal installation required. No pran pratishta is necessary. Only they should perform a Maha Abhishek. Great. Invite Srinivas Acharya to perform the Maha Abhishek, while Shamananda, Ramachandra, and you take up the service of Kirtan and Vraj Mandala, and befittingly arrange for everything. Now, although Narottam Das was a prince, but he had bequeathed his throne to his cousin Santosh, who made all the arrangements for the grand festival, including prasad seva and befitting the accommodation to all the Vaishnavas. So Janava Mata, who is actually Annapurna. You know Annapurna? What is Annapurna? Just by her overseeing everything, there would be no scarcity. Now, under the auspices of Janava Mata, all the great Vaishnavas, they were seen off in a befitting manner by King Santosh. So he doesn't describe the festival, he's only describing this part. Now, at one time, there's a story here, when Janava Mata, she was very engrossed rolling luchis. What luchis? Luchis are Indian. Luchini Sarapuri, Ladu Rasabali. So once she was very engrossed in rolling these luchis. They were made from refined flour for Thakurji's offerings. And while that was going on, while she was rolling this, then Virabhadra, the son of Nityananda Prabhu, he suddenly arrived in the kitchen. Now, who's the mother of Virabhadra? Not Janava Devi. Vasudha, her sister. So, when Virabhadra, the son of Lord Nityananda, suddenly arrived in the kitchen, and because it was very culturally fitting that the head should always be covered with the loose end of the sari, especially in front of men, then upon finding both her hands engaged in seva, what did Janava Devi do? She spontaneously manifested another hand to pull the veil over her head. Witnessing this, Virabhadra, who became awestruck, he took shelter of her lotus feet and he became her disciple. Yes. Janava Mata, she had a very divine presence. Everyone could feel in her presence. So after the ceremony at Keturi, then Janava Mata left for Vrindavan. And on the way, she delivered many, many devious people who, although initially they addressed her as a Brahmin's widow, but later, upon witnessing her potency, they became her disciples. Yes, on the way to Vrindavan. And many of these people were devious people, but she delivered them. Yes, and when they witnessed her potency, they became her disciples. You know the Gopinath temple in Vrindavan? One of the three main temples, Govindaji, Gopinath, and Madan Mohan in Vrindavan. There is a deity of Srimati Radharani on the altar there, in the Gopinath Mandir. And that deity was offered to Gopinath by Janava Mata when she came there to Vrindavan. Then, in Karadaha, she manifested the deity of Sri Krishna Rai. And she also established the deity of Mahaprabhu, and she initiated the daily worship of these deities. So at Radha Kunda, the place where Janava Mata used to bathe, eventually it came to be known as Janavagat. And there is also a small shrine in honor of her sitting place at Radha Kund, which is called Janava Ma Baitak. So those who perform parikrama under the guidance of advanced Vaishnavas, they can see it there. So today is the appearance day of Janava Mata and Sita Devi. They are not conditioned souls like appear in this world only for the welfare of all. Now there's an end note here that Lord Balaram's two wives, Srimati Varuni Devi and Srimati Revati Devi, they appeared during Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as Srimati Vasudha Devi and Srimati Janava Devi. They were the two dear wives of Lord Nityananda, and they were the daughters of the great personality Sri Surya Das, and their father Surya Das had previously been Maharaj Kakudni. His bodily luster made him as effulgent as the sun. Now, some persons say that Srimati Vasudha Devi is the incarnation of Srimati Anangamanjari. And then others, they say that Srimati Janava Devi is the incarnation of Srimati Anangamanjari. But in truth, both opinions are correct. They are both incarnations of Srimati Anangamanjari. This is a quote from the Gauragana Deepika of Rupa Swami. The glorification given by Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. There was not a glorification of Sri Madhu Pandit, and I forgot to look on my laptop at here to remember anything about Madhu Pandit, or did you read anything?
He was a disciple of the daughter Pandit.
Yeah.
And it was to him that Gopinath really manifested.
Oh yes. Madhu Pandit. Okay. So Bobade Prabhu just described that Madhu Pandit, who associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very exalted personality, at Vamshivat on the Yamuna riverbank, while he was staying there from the waters that were there and the sand on the bank of the Yamuna. So all of these personalities, names, very powerful and very auspicious. That is told in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Just to hear their names is very powerful. So as we progress in our bhakti, then within our heart, deeper and deeper feelings of connection and appreciation will appear in our hearts for all of the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All of his eternal associates descended from Goloka Vrindavan to assist him in his pastimes. So we bow down to all of these divine personalities. Now we're going to continue with our reading of the Bhakti Tattva Viveka by Srila, and the third chapter is titled An Analysis of the Natural Attributes of Bhakti. What are the attributes of Bhakti itself? So we have come about 2/3 of the way through this chapter. And we're discussing now, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is quoting various shlokas, and he's explaining that He's explaining from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in the Padma Purana that what does it mean to possess love for all living entities and to also be the object of affection of all living entities. So there, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami writes, Ye narchito haristena tarpita jangama stavara api. This means that those who have worshipped Sri Hari, they have actually satisfied the entire universe. So therefore, all living entities, both animate and inanimate, they love them. These living entities are loved by them. All the unlimited numbers of jivas, both animate and inanimate, in whatever species they are, the pure devotee loves them. He has love for them. Now, what is the purport? The purport to this is that those who are devoted exclusively to Hari Bhajan, they love everyone without envy, without any envy in their heart at all. Now, in the devotees, all varieties of good qualities naturally develop. And this is easily verified by examining the lives of the devotees. So in this regard, as we read in the last class, from exclusive bhakti for Bhagavan, they become the residents of all the demigods and also of all good qualities. Here's the verse. Yasyasti manoratena sati davato bahi. So, those who possess undeviated and exclusive bhakti for Bhagavan, they become the residents of all the demigods and of all goods. Gratification. How is it possible that these qualities can exist in non-devotees? They have so many illicit desires in their hearts, and detachment, spiritual awareness, and so forth, they appear only in those hearts in which bhakti has arisen. Even by great endeavor, these qualities do not appear in those hearts which are occupied. They only appear in the pure hearts of the pure devotees. So, even though happiness is included within auspiciousness, because this is talking about auspiciousness. Kleshagni Shubhada. Shubhada means giving all auspiciousness. So happiness is included within auspiciousness, but it is being reviewed separately. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. We are dealing with the topic separately. We're dealing with that separately. So, by nature, bhakti bestows all auspiciousness. By its very nature. The conditioned soul can be divided into three categories. Would you like to know what these three categories are? Because we're conditioned souls. And therefore, we should know that there are three types of happiness that the conditioned soul experiences in this material world. First one is called Vaishayika Sukha, then Brahma Sukha, and Aishwara Sukha. So the first one, Vaishayika Sukha. What is this? It is all the varieties of mundane pleasure that are found within this material world. And then, within the category of all these mundane pleasures, even the 18 types of mystic perfection and the heavenly enjoyments, they're also considered Vaishayika Sukha, material pleasures that are found within this material world. And then, upon realizing that mundane pleasure is ultimately distressful and temporary, when someone realizes this, that mundane pleasure is ultimately distressful and temporary, what happens? Then the endeavor to eradicate it through the process of neti-neti, it is called Vyatireka. Vyatireka means the principle of negation. So this is what the mundane impersonalists are trying to do. The impersonal pleasure that is derived from these efforts this is called Brahma Sukha. Then the happiness derived from taking permanent shelter of Bhagavan, who possesses all opulence. Bhagavan possesses all opulences in full. And there is a happiness that is derived from taking permanent shelter of Bhagavan. What is that called? It is called Brahma Sukha. Brahma Sukha. No, this is Gurudev's book here. Anyway, the next sentence explains that the happiness derived from taking permanent shelter, of Bhagavan, you're again, I'm reading that the impersonal pleasure that is derived from these Vyatireka efforts, through eliminating all mundane feelings and imagining oneself to be one with the unchangeable Brahman, it is called Brahma Sukha. Yes. Now, the happiness derived from taking permanent shelter of Bhagavan, who possesses all opulence in full, it is called Aishwara Sukha. Aishwara Sukha. Now, by nature, Hari Bhakti bestows all varieties of happiness. Did you know? Performs bhakti to Lord Hari, bestows all different varieties of happiness. Yes. According to one's specific qualification and desires, it bestows either Vaishayika Sukha, Brahma Sukha, or Aishwara Sukha. So now, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is being quoted to confirm. Siddhaya Paramascharya Bhuktir Muktir Cha Shashvati Nityam Cha Paramanandam Bhaved Govinda Bhaktita. This means that the 8 types of mystic yoga perfection, that's one category. Types of liberation, and also the supreme bliss, which is called Paramananda. All of these can be achieved by what? Bhave Govinda Bhaktita, by a devotion to Shri Govinda. Achieve Bhakti to Shri Govinda. So it is written in the Sri Hari Bhakti Sudodaya and also quoted in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhuyo piyache devesha tvai bhaktir dridhastu me ya mokshanta chaturvarga falada sukada lata. O Lord of the demigods, I repeatedly beg for the boon of attaining exclusive devotion unto you, by which, according to their specific qualification, some devotees obtain the fruits of wealth, of religiosity, of sense gratification and liberation, while others obtain the fruit of the happiness. That there's two different types of qualifications acquired by the devotees to obtain two different types of happiness. So some devotees this highest happiness. Why? Because it takes deep dedication and absolute surrender and devotion to obtain the fruit of the happiness of possessing pure love for Krishna. Now, what is the purport? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining that the purport is that bhakti is actually capable of bestowing all types of happiness. But the unalloyed devotees, considering the pleasure that is derived from sense gratification and impersonal liberation to be insignificant, they search exclusively for prem sukha, the happiness of possessing love for the Supreme Lord. Yes. Because these devotees, they can perceive this truth, that actually bhakti is capable of bestowing all types of happiness. But the pure devotees, Asian or impersonal liberation, is completely insignificant. And what the happiness of possessing love for the Supreme Lord. Without the help of bhakti, the paths of jnana and of karma, they're incapable of yielding any results. Without the help of bhakti, both of those paths can be attained without bhakti. Did you get that? Did you understand that? In any condition, happiness cannot be obtained without bhakti. Now, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is moving on to the third of the six qualities, moksha laguta krit. Now, what is the nature of bhakti? By its very nature, bhakti renders of liberation, and also quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Hari Bhakti Mahadevya Sarva Muktyadi Siddhaya Bhuktayash Chadbhutas Tasyash Chet by mukti. The various kinds of perfection that are headed by mukti and the entirety of mundane pleasures follows behind Bhakti Devi has a maid servant. Yeah. All the different types of perfection, chief of which is mukti. And not that, follow the goddess of Hari Bhakti, Bhakti Devi, as her maidservants. They're all serving Bhakti Devi. Now, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami has also said this very beautifully. He says, Manag eva prarudayam hridaye bhagavad rato purushartas tu chatvaras trinayante samantataha. This means that only when one understands the fourfold achievements of economic development, religiosity, sense gratification, and liberation to be very insignificant. Only when one understands that all four of these are completely insignificant, then can it be accepted that dharma, artha, kam, moksha, that they are very, very wonderful achievements. Then that means that pure Shuddha Bhakti has not yet appeared within your heart. So that's the third quality of Bhakti. Fourth quality means the attainment of Hari Bhakti is extremely rare. What is it for extreme? Suddu. Srila Rupa Goswami, he tells here, sadhano gayar anasangayar alabhya shuchiradapi harina chashvadeyeti dvidha sa syat sudurlabha. There are two reasons for Hari Bhakti being so rare. Hari Bhakti is rare. Why is it rare? Why is it so sudurlabha? This quality of rarity. Well, there are two reasons for Hari Bhakti being so rare. First one, in spite of his bereft of firm faith and unwavering persistence. What is it telling? Even if you in many of sadhana for a long period of time, if while you are engaging in that, you are bereft of firm faith, and you are also bereft of unwavering persistence, then you cannot achieve. It is extremely rare. What's the second reason why Hari Bhakti is so rare? The second reason is that Sri Hari himself, Lord Krishna, does not easily grant Asanga Yukta Sadhana. Asanga Yukta Sadhana means spiritual practice endowed with unflinching attachment. Even if someone may be engaged in Asanga Yukta Sadhana, spiritual practice endowed with unflinching attachment, Bhakti. The word implies expertise in bhajan, actually. Asanga. Expertise in bhajan. Without expertise in bhajan, no spiritual practice can grant Hari Bhakti. By executing sadhana with expertise in bhajan for a long period of time, and after offenses to both the holy name and the Vaishnavas have been dispelled, then by the mercy of the Lord, devotion, which establishes so asanga means expertise in bhajan. If someone's not expert in bhajan, is there even a slight chance that they can have all these things occur within their heart? No. Here's how it can happen. We already heard that even if somebody's engaged in that kind of sadhana, asanga yukta sadhana, but they don't have unflinching but they do not have, they are bereft of firm faith. They don't have nishta, firm faith. They have unwavering persistence. So for that reason, to sadhana, with unflinching attachment. So what does this word imply? Bhakti. So one must have asanga yukta sadhana, expertise in bhajan. Now here is the formula. Here's the formula. Even though Hari Bhakti is sudurlabha, how can the Lord be impelled? How does He become impelled to grant this extremely rare bhakti? Here's how. By executing sadhana with expertise in bhajan for a long period of time. But then also, long period of time, all the offenses to both the holy name and the Vaishnavas, they've been dispelled now. Then by the mercy of the Lord, unalloyed devotion, which establishes that jiva in knowledge of his constitutional identity, it arises in the heart. So Rupa Goswami writes, Jnanata sulabha muktir yagyadi punyata sayam sadhana sahasrayar hari bhakti sudurlabha. What is the meaning of this verse? Rupa Goswami is telling that by the cultivation of impersonal knowledge, very easily one can obtain mukti, liberation. Okay? By the performance of sacrifices and other activities, despite performing innumerable sadhanas, one cannot achieve Hari Bhakti so easily. It is sudurlabha. So Bhagavan does not easily grant bhakti unto him. He doesn't easily grant it. It's confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 6, verse 18. Rajan patir guru ralam bhavatam yadunam daivam priya kulapati kvachakan kinkurova astvevam anga bhajatam bhagavan mukundo muktim dadati karhichit sma na bhakti yogam. Sukdev Goswami is telling this verse to Maharaj Parikshit. My dear King Parikshit, Lord Mukunda himself, he was the protector, the spiritual master. He was the worshipful deity, the well-wisher, and the head of the Pandavas and the Yadu dynasty. Sometimes he even became their obedient servant. It is a matter of great fortune, because Bhagavan easily grants liberation to those engaged in bhajan unto him, but he does not easily award prema for him, which is far superior to liberation. Now, Jiva Goswami comments upon this verse, and he says, Tasmad asangenapi krite sadhana bhute sakshat bhakti yoge sati yavat falabhute bhakti yoge gada saktir najayante tavan na dadati tyarta. Means, here's his comment, those who engage in bhajan unto the Supreme Lord by executing the ninefold limbs of bhakti, they are not granted unalloyed devotion by Bhagavan until they develop strong attachment for activity executed on the platform of ecstatic emotion, bhav, which is the fruit of perception of one's eternal identity. Until that time comes, one's devotion is simply chaya bhakti abhas. Jiva Goswami? Jiva Goswami is telling this. Here I'm reading this again. Those persons, those devotees who engage in bhajan unto the Supreme Lord by doing what? By doing Navavidha Bhakti. Navavidha Bhakti means the 9 limbs of Bhakti. So those who are engaging in bhajan unto the Supreme Lord by executing the 9 limbs of Bhakti, they are not granted unalloyed devotion by Bhagavan until what? Something has to come. Something has to take place. And what is that? Until they have. Well, how does that come? How does that come? This strong attachment for activity that is executed on the platform of ecstatic emotion, bhav. How does it come? This is the fruit. This ecstatic attachment and emotion is the fruit of perception of asakti. I'm telling this. Not until asakti, then the person cannot perceive his eternal identity. But in asakti, the stage just prior to bhav, then that takes place. He receives spurtis, momentary visions of his eternal spiritual form. And then when he enters into the stage of bhav, then shuddha sattva visheshatva. Then that perception becomes permanent. And it is called Swarup Siddhi, that he knows. Here Jiva Goswami is saying that until that time comes, one's devotion is simply chaya bhakti abhas. So that's why our Gurudev told the famous quotation that there is no pure bhakti, then it is chaya bhakti abhas. Let's get that straight. Moving on to the 5th of the 6 qualities that pure bhakti possesses. This next one is number 5. And we know that 5 and 6, these 2 qualities appear in the stage of what? Prem. In the stage of prem, these next 2 qualities appear. First is Sandrananda Vishesh Atma. Sandrananda Vishesh Atma means by nature bhakti is very intense transcendental pleasure, ananda. Sandrananda Visheshat. So, it has already been mentioned that Bhagavan is Sachidananda Swarup, meaning that he is the complete embodiment of eternity, knowledge and bliss. And it has been stated that the jiva is Anuchid Ananda. Anuchidananda. That means he is an infinitesimal particle of spiritual bliss who is likened to a single particle of light situated within a ray of the unlimited spiritual sun. That's the jiva. So now quantity. What is present in the living entity? In minute quantity? Chit and ananda. Spiritual bliss and spiritual knowledge. But in very minute quantity. Now the word ananda, it is generally understood to mean mundane pleasure. But whatever pleasure can be derived from all material pleasures combined is extremely negligible when placed before spiritual pleasure. Do you got that? Did you catch that? What is it saying? It is saying that the word ananda, in a general way, it means mundane pleasure. But even if you take all the different mundane pleasures that can be derived of all the material pleasures combined, it is extremely negligible when placed before spiritual pleasure. Material pleasure is extremely weak, and it is also only momentary. It is temporary. Material pleasure, weak and temporary. Whereas Chidananda, transcendental pleasure, is extremely intense. So bhakti is very intense transcendental pleasure, and the intrinsic pleasure of the living entity. That is bhakti. This is the intrinsic pleasure of the living. It is insignificant when it is placed before bhakti. This Brahmananda. Brahmananda is not the eternal bliss of the living. Did you know that? That there is an eternal bliss, transcendental pleasure in the living entity. That is called bhakti. But Brahmananda, personal liberation, it is not the eternal bliss of the living entity. It is the so-called pleasure that is obtained from the negation of matter and material activities. That's all it is. It's the negation of matter and material activities. That's what Brahmananda is. All that the Mayavadis, the impersonalists, they want to attain this. Brahmananda. But what is Brahmananda? It's not even actual pleasure. It is not the called pleasure that is obtained from the negation of matter and of material activities. So Srila Rupa Goswami has said in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Brahmananda Bhavedesha Chekpararada Gunikrita Naiti Bhakti Sukham Bodhe Paramanu Tulamapi. This means, even if the happiness of liberation that is experienced by impersonalists, even if you take that happiness that these impersonalists are experiencing, and even if that happiness is multiplied by what? 10 million times. multiplying that happiness of liberation of the impersonalists is multiplied 10 million times. The resulting pleasure, it will not be equal to even a drop of the ocean of pleasure that is derived from bhakti. You got that? What did this say? Tell. Tell. What was just told? First you can say it in Russian for them to hear. English. $10 million. Even a drop. Yes. From the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean of bhakti, transcendental nectar of rasa. Now what is the purport? The purport is that simple imagination, that by simple imagination we may extend the happiness that is derived from impersonal liberation to whatever extent, but in reality it cannot even come near to the intrinsic pleasure. The entity pleasure of the jiva is inborn, and hence it is natural. The happiness that is derived from impersonal liberation is unnatural, due to arising from the living entity's distorted endeavors, and hence it is temporary. So, it is said in the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the following verse: Tvat sakshat karana lahada vishuddhabdi stitasya me sukhani gospadayante brahmanyapi jagadguru. This means, O Bhagavan, by attaining darshan of you, I am now established in the ocean of pure bliss. What to speak of material pleasure, even the pleasure of impersonal liberation now seems as insignificant as the water in a calf's hoof print. There we go. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says there are many similar statements like these found all throughout the Shastras. We come to the final symptom and the last part of this chapter. We'll conclude our class with this last part. Sandrananda Visheshatma. And the second is Krishna Karshani. Krishna Karshani. What does that mean? This means that bhakti is the only means to attract Krishna. There is no other way to attract Krishna. How are you going to attract Krishna? Are you going to show him urine? You're going to try to attract Krishna with your body? Or are you going to try to attract Krishna with your expertise and your ingenious intelligence? No. Nothing can attract Krishna. There's only one thing that attracts Krishna, and that is called bhakti. Only bhakti. So, as Rupa Goswami writes in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Kritva harim prema bhajam priya varga samanvitam bhaktir vashi karoti ti Shri Krishna karshani mata. This means unalloyed devotion, pure bhakti, unalloyed devotion, it overpowers Sri Krishna. Just imagine. It overpowers Sri Krishna, and it also overpowers his dearmost associates with love. So, this variability to attract Sri Krishna is actually the inherent nature of bhakti devi. Yes. This is to attract Sri Krishna. Now the purport of this is that in the stage of sadhana bhakti, as long as unalloyed devotion has not arisen within the heart, in that stage of sadhana bhakti, as long as unalloyed devotion has not arisen within the heart, then a sadhaka is performing a semblance of devotion, bhakti abhas. At this stage, the attainment of Shuddha Bhakti is very rare. But when unalloyed devotion does appear in the heart, even in the stage of sadhana, then a little of the splendor of the limbs of bhajan begins to blossom. Realization of the true intrinsic nature of the Lord is kindled by the medium of that splendor. So, what is being told here? What is being told is that in the stage of sadhana bhakti, and there's many levels of sadhana bhakti, many has not arisen within the heart. Then what is the sadhak actually performing? He's performing bhakti abhas. Only a semblance of bhakti. Now, is it possible in that stage for Shuddha Bhakti to be attained? No. Extremely rare. But you know what? Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Rupa Goswami, they're explaining that when unalloyed devotion does appear in the heart, even in the stage of sadhana, then what happens? Then he's describing here that a small amount, a very little bit of the splendor of the limbs of bhajan, it begins to blossom in the heart. A little bit. Then at that time, when that happens, then a realization of the jiva's eternal identity and a realization of the true intrinsic nature of the Lord, it becomes kindled by the medium of splendor. That's when the unalloyed devotion does begin to appear in the heart, even in the stage of sadhana. Then a little bit of splendor of the limbs of bhajan begins to blossom. And at that time, the realization of the jiva's eternal identity and the realization of the true intrinsic nature of the Lord, it is kindled by the medium of that splendor. So subsequently, after that happens, a powerful agitation in the form of deep attachment for bhakti develops within the heart of the devotee. Deep attachment for bhakti develops within the heart of the devotee. Why? Because now there has become a very powerful agitation in the heart. And that begins to manifest a deep attachment for bhakti within the heart of the devotee. So, then, the appearance of this stage of bhajan, causes the pure practice of bhakti to quickly unfold into the stage of bhav. Yes. The appearance of this stage of bhajan causes the pure practice of bhakti to quickly unfold into the stage of bhav, and then to ultimately fully blossom into praying. In the stage of bhav, bhakti attracts Sri Krishna along with his dearmost companions, but in the stage of praying, then bhakti makes the sadhaka an instrument of Krishna's pastimes and thus induces him to relish the topmost rasa. This topic will be explained more clearly ahead. So now Vishva Vaishnava Das summarizes this topic in the following 5 verses. Who is Vishva Vaishnava Das? Yeah, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given himself this pen name, Vishva Vaishnava Das, and now he is composing these 5 Sanskrit verses to summarize the entire topic. He says, Kleshagni Shubhada Bhaktir Yada Sa Sadhanatmika Hridaye Baddha Jivanam Tatashta Lakshananvita Kleshagni Subhada Moksha Laguta Kritsa Durlabha Sabhaktir Bhava Rupena Yavatishtati Chetasi Prema Rupa Yada Bhaktis Tada Tad Gunanvita Sandrananda Visheshatma Shri Krishna Karshani Chasa Muktanam Eva Sa Shashvat Swarupananda Rupini Sambandha Swarupa Nityam Rajati Nirmaya Nikrintani Sakatam Bhagavad Bhakti Samyam Kankshati Chetika. Stages of bhakti: sadhana bhakti, bhav bhakti, and prem bhakti. Bhakti in the stage of sadhana has 2 aspects: kleshagnatva, meaning that it removes all types of material distress, and shubhadatva, meaning that it offers the supreme auspiciousness. Then in the stage of bhav, 4 moksha laguta karitva, meaning that it reveals to the practitioner the insignificance of liberation, and sudurlabhatva, meaning it is extremely rare. In the stage of prem, over and above these 4 attributes, 2 more aspects are visible, and that is Sandrananda Visheshatma, meaning it grants extremely intense transcendental pleasure, and Sri Krishna Karshani, meaning that it is the only means to attract Sri Krishna. So in the conditioned stage of the living entity, the 3 intrinsic attributes of bhakti, that is Sandrananda Sattva, Karshat, and Sudurlabha, they remain mixed with its 3 marginal characteristics, that is Kleshagnatva, Shubhadatva, and Mokshalaguta Kritva. So that's in the conditioned stage. These intrinsic attributes of bhakti, they remain mixed with the 3 marginal characteristics. In the liberated stage, the living entity, bhakti, living entity, and also it acts as the living entity's intrinsic transcendental pleasure. The liberation that dispels the covering of the illusory energy, it can be attained simply by the performance of a semblance of devotion. What? Liberation that dispels the covering of the illusory energy. It can be attained simply by the performance of a semblance of devotion. So since such liberation is just one of the ordinary maidservants among the many maidservants of Bhakti Devi, then how can she aspire to be equated with Bhakti Devi? How can Mukti Devi be, can she aspire to be equated with Bhakti Devi? Because Mukti is just one of the ordinary maidservants of Bhakti Devi, amongst many maidservants of Bhakti Devi. So therefore, how can she aspire to be equated with Bhakti Devi? So in this way, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has written this chapter which gave us the analysis of the natural attributes of bhakti. How to understand what are the natural attributes of bhakti, and analyzing this very minutely. We've learned so much. So in our next class, which will be on Sunday, we will go to the final chapter. We'll go to the final chapter, chapter 4. And chapter 4 is titled An Analysis of the Qualification for Bhakti. That's important, that we can understand, do I have that qualification? And we could possibly finish it in one class, but more than likely it will be 2 classes. So our class is actually Mohini Ekadashi on that day. So, and next week, we've already told the devotees that instead of having the class as usual on Tuesday, we are going to switch it over to Wednesday. Why? Nrsimha Chaturdasi, the appearance day of Lord Nrsimhadev. And we'll be fasting on that day till sunset, till dusk. And then at that time we will take Ekadasi Prasad. So that's on Wednesday. It's on Wednesday. And so then on Thursday, the day after, is Sri Madhavendra Puripad's appearance day, also Sri Srinivasacharya appearance day, and Sri Parameshwari Thakur disappearance day, and it is also Purnima. It is Buddha Purnima, the appearance day of Lord Buddha. That is on Thursday, which is usually the day of our class. But because we're having a long class on the Nrsimha Chaturdasi and have to break the fast the next morning, we will not have class on that day, meaning on Thursday, but we will switch the class over to Friday. And we'll discuss the glories of those personalities on the 24th, Friday the 24th, which is also Srila Bhakti Saranga Swami Maharaj's disappearance day. So we'll discuss those personalities and Bhakti Swami's on Friday. We will have a Sunday class, a Wednesday class, and a Friday class, and then another Sunday class on the 26th. That brings us almost up to the end of the month. We'll have 2 more classes on the 28th, Tuesday, and on the 30th, Thursday. And then we will move into the month of June. And in the month of June, so Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol Shri Bhakti Tattva Viveka Ki Jai, Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Bol Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Kesha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satchavachai Namo Nama Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. All glory to the assembled devotee.